Hey, it's Don Thornton here, and I want to give you just my take on what's going to go on in 2021 with the distressed property situation and foreclosures and so forth, and especially here in Florida. Obviously, when you look at real estate investing and foreclosures, particularly, you look at to see whether you're in a judicial state or a non-judicial state. So, for example, if you're in Georgia, you're not going to be sourcing your foreclosures usually when the bank announces them, because in a non-judicial state, all the bank has to do is just do a 30-day notice and it goes to foreclosure auction. Not much time to work with, especially if you're doing want to do a short sale, because short sales are going to take about 4 or 5 months, and you're not going to have time to get started and get it going before it goes to foreclosure auction. So let's just recap where we're at. So obviously the pandemic started hitting last spring in March. February was the last full month that we had of foreclosure filings, and but so immediately what happened is that the federal government declared a moratorium on all the foreclosures that are going to be filed for government loans. What does that mean? That means Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, USDA, FHA, and VA. So that's a huge chunk of the market that basically said that they were not going to file any foreclosures for a year. So those moratoriums are scheduled to be ending here in the first quarter of 2021. Now, obviously, we have a new administration coming in, and they could extend them. We don't know. Now, historically, if you remember what happened in 2008 and 2000, in 2009, I guess, when Obama came in, I noticed a huge difference in when Bush was in his last year of his administration, when the financial markets really started to tank. There was much more of a laissez-faire, let the market decide what's going on attitude with the Bush administration. The Obama administration came in and tried to do some stuff. Now, whether it was effective or not, I don't know. Looking back on the way things were, I think probably they were misguided. But a lot of what they did just delayed the pain more than it might have been easier or better in the long term, just to let these things go through, because so many people had mortgages they shouldn't have had to begin with. You had people that didn't have enough income for one mortgage. They have 5 or 6 mortgages, 6 houses they had invested and so forth. You weren't going to save those anyway. So, but that's neither here nor there. So will the Biden administration act in the same type of way? It's possible. We don't know. Plus, you got to remember, a lot's going to depend on these 2 Senate elections in Georgia. If the Democrats win both of those, and they control all 3 branches of the government, and they might be able to push through more progressive policies. If the Republicans stay in the majority, they're going to be doing probably more blocking, and there may be more of a status quo, and not. Biden won't be able to do as much as he might want to. So that's still up in the air. We'll know about that in January. But in the meantime, we do have the forbearances that are coming to an end. The moratoriums will be coming to an end, or, at least, if not completely, chopped off, to start off and say, okay, here we go. We're going to start filing foreclosures. Hopefully they're going to be ramped up, and hopefully a lot of this government intervention, hopefully from the point of view of real estate investors, a lot of this government intervention will start being ramped down, which will mean that the natural process can continue, where we can start getting foreclosures filed. And for foreclosure investors, like I said, that's an important thing. We've already seen on the eviction side that, this fall, they started letting the evictions happen more and more and more. And, those are being worked through the system. Now, whether you agree with that or not politically, that's your business. I'm just talking about strictly from a point of view of a real estate investor. That certainly took a lot of pressure off, landlords. And whether, if you have people who can't pay their rent, who's going to rent your properties? So that's a whole different subject. I'm not going to get into that right now. But the interesting phenomenon that's happened is that last spring, I completely missed the mark when it came to my guess about what was going to happen with. I thought that with all this unemployment, that housing was going to tank. But actually, the opposite happened, and it's fascinating to see what went on there. Is because because of the moratoriums and because of the forbearances and so forth, a lot of this pain has been deferred. What's happened is that it's basically just kick the market down the can, or the can down the road, more about facing these difficulties of whether we're going to be having issues with a flood of foreclosures coming to the market because they were not allowed to. So a lot of inventory that would have been on the market, a lot of distress inventory that would have come into the market is not coming in the market, which meant there was a scarcity in houses available, which meant, of course, with law of supply and demand, if you don't have that much inventory, you have more people wanting to buy than inventory out there, which means prices go up. Also, interest rates have been very, very low, which also meant a lot more people were trying to buy while the interest rates were low. So I do think that there's going to be a slowdown in the market one way or the other, just because those factors are going to be I don't want to say mitigated, but they're going to be not quite as sharp as they have been this crazy year. And I will say that we have seen recently in the market that foreclosures are starting to move up again, but it's a trickle. I mean, we're talking, I read a statistic about maybe in the summer there was 5% of the foreclosures normally filed and auctioned off. Now I think it's like 16%, but it's still just a trickle. As a business, we got 6 or 15 houses in our short sale pipeline in October, but I noticed a significant decrease in the amount of foreclosures filed in November. Now, whether that's the election, obviously Thanksgiving may have been a contributing factor with the courts just not being open as much, but I did see a definite lessening of foreclosure filings. I anticipate that's going to be the case in December as well, because we have basically the courts traditionally start shutting down or not doing much volume in late December, so that's going to be an issue. So I personally, I feel like that we're going to see it ramping up slowly. I think towards the end of the first quarter, maybe by late spring, we'll start getting more normal levels of foreclosure filings. That's what I believe. Again, caveat: if the Biden administration is more aggressive on builder homes, that could change things. But I think that's kind of where we're going as far as that stuff goes. So anyway, that's that's where we're at now. I just want to remind people that the economy was not that great to begin with, and the pandemic has hurt it more. We still have lots of pain in society, so I believe that regardless of what government intervention still continues, for the next couple of years, we're going to see the fallout of a recession that we were already in before the pandemic hit, and the question is how long it's going to take. So I think there's a great opportunity for us as foreclosure investors and real estate investors anyway, dealing with distressed sellers, to get out there and try to find our get houses on our pipeline and make money, which is what we're here for. Okay, that is it for this video. I give a disclaimer: I may be full of crap. Who knows? But this is just what I'm thinking right now, December 12th, 2020. Okay, and I'll see you in my next video.